How do toddlers learn language?
The thing to look out for first is what's called receptive language. That means that children are understanding what you say, and that starts really when they're around about 1. They can wave bye-bye when you tell them to. They can pass you a toy or a cup when you ask for it. And you realise the child understands what you're saying. Provided they're doing that, it's not so important that they start with expressive language, which is using the words. But you should still try to encourage language by talking as much as possible to the child and using, the words over and over, saying, yes, this is your cup, pass me your cup, here is the cup. The more you reinforce the language yourself over and over, the sooner children will learn. And it's important, I think, also for parents to know that children don't learn from watching the television or, hearing something in the distance. You have to sort of be down on the child's level, making eye contact, when you're teaching language. That's the best way for them to learn it.
My toddler hasn't started talking yet. Should I be worried?
Well, it very much depends on the age of your child. Language develops to a very recognised sequence, beginning with babbling in older babies, going through just a few words like dada or mama, and then gradually putting 2 words together till eventually children are talking in whole sentences. And the sequence is the same right across every child, but individual children will do it very much at their own pace. So one child may talk very early, by 18 months they might be saying quite a bit. Another child will be closer to 3, and both those things are within the normal range.
What is the no phase?
This is a very common feature of toddlers. I mean, if you listen to a small child around 2, they actually even stand there saying to themselves, no, 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 for no reason. And in a way, if you think about it, when they're little babies, you can just put them down, they have to stay where you put them, you choose their clothes, you choose what they eat, and it's a huge challenge to them that suddenly they can say no to you. So they do it just because they can. This is the chance for them to show they've got wills of their own, and that's very normal. I mean, it can feel irritating to parents, but it's inevitable that, once they realise they can say no, they will.
What is a tantrum?
Tantrums are one of the worst parts of looking after a toddler. It's really an explosion, an emotional explosion. Children don't have the language to explain to parents what they want. Lots of things are frustrating for them. They can't reach the biscuit tin, they can't make you understand, they can't find the right piece of the puzzle. And all of those things, because they aren't able to express them, can lead to them just boiling over and having, a tantrum. So it's a very normal reaction at this phase. And again, parents should not think of it as being done to annoy them, even though it's very hard to deal with.
What can I do to prevent my toddler having a tantrum?
I would say, first of all, you can prevent tantrums from actually happening in the first place. It may seem like impossible for parents, but it's about thinking about your child's routines, trying to get a structure to their day so that you can spot the times when they're tired, when they, perhaps hungry, when it might be more likely. But also stepping in quickly when you see a child getting frustrated. If you see that they're about to get cross because they're stuck halfway with a jumper on, step in quickly before it gets to the tantrum. And that can make a huge, huge difference.
How should I deal with a toddler tantrum when it occurs?
If in spite of your best efforts a tantrum happens, sometimes if it's not too much underway, you can actually try to ignore it. Walk into another room, just say, I'm not listening to that silly noise or whatever. Now that doesn't always work. Some children will let you hold them in a tight cuddle, try to calm them down. Others will just get even more mad if you do that. But there are things you can do, but mainly, I think the main advice is to keep calm yourself. If a parent goes into a tantrum or starts shouting or, raging, it just really makes things worse. So the best thing is for the parent to at least try and keep calm so that the child understands, that their behaviour is in a sense okay and the parent can cope with it.
My toddler's tantrums are extreme and frequent. Is that normal?
It's difficult to be certain when a child's around 2 to 3 years, because something like 1 in 5 children have several tantrums a day. So where a parent might be saying, oh, this is extreme, it might still be very much within the normal range. And it's really only once the child gets to about 3 or 4 really, that you could think, this is still going on. You know, this is perhaps something I need to find out about. But certainly around 2, probably, is most of it will be normal behaviour.
My toddler is always whining and complaining. Is this normal?
Toddlers do appear sometimes to be whining a lot. They want a nice lolly just before lunch is ready. They want to see a video for the 3rd time. They want to go back for a toy that's left behind when you're halfway to the nursery. And some of that is just trying to control their world. But sometimes, you know, when they're doing that general whining, they really just need a bit more of your time and attention. And although it can be hard, sometimes that's the quickest way to get them to stop. If you try and, you know, just force them to stop, it probably just gets worse. So if you just take a minute, you know, take your child on your lap, give them that attention, quite often they'll be happy to go off and play again.